But he's still in prison, right?
Oh yeah, the mayor. Yeah.
What he tell her?
He didn't say it like that, but he basically, I mean, that was just like, I'm sick of y'all shit. Every time I look up, there's something on my desk about somebody else in Baltimore getting shot.
My pager?
Maybe this is my pager. Coming up, and it's a black man being shot, or a woman or a child being shot. You know the people that's doing the shooting. You need to do something to turn them in. You just going on.
How long you been in office?
Couple months.
And he's all right?
He never wanted to do this.
Forever.
Why he take it?
He had to. He was next to us.
I think we all got choices. We don't have to leave.
It was either that or step down. He don't want to lose his job. Like, he likes being on city council. Like, when the next mayor comes in,
He can step down.
right, he can go back to being city council. Like, he was next in line.
I don't know how that's gonna work because he got
The same way with Stephanie.
right, but he gonna go to city council. So what's gonna happen to Brandon? Stop.
Well, he'll have to run to get his spot back in city council.
He ain't gonna get it. Breakdown isn't on here. Do you have any other Mariah Carey songs?
Just couldn't Mariah Carey do that?
That song specifically was just about women kind of holding their feelings in, even though they were really all sad, not really know how to express it.
What emotion? I think I don't want to cry.
Turn it down because we don't lie.
Well, I know that people be saying this is not the rest of the songs and shit.
Right, like, if you won't say that, then they won't, like, we won't be able to play the video. Like, once the live is done, you won't be able to see it anymore. But you have to say you don't own the rights to this music.
We do not own the rights to this music.
What happens to CD? We can all play it.
I know what it is, all right.
You better call it.
Oh,
Oh, that's what I'm going to talk about too. All right, you ready to get the show started, sir?
yeah, I'm rocking out.
Well, go ahead.
I got them jumping.
Well, you have to start it. I'm ready when you're ready. I got my stuff written in. I thought you was ready.
Well, the song is still going. You know, this is the order to this thing.
That's the first one.
Oh, sorry.
See that?
The Alicia Keys? Oh. It's great. It's very offensive, so I like it. I can tell you about this book already.
Why is it?
Because a lot of women don't want to hear it. It's just It's two parts, so it's that one, and it's the black woman got to understand the black man. You're right. This book about 30 years old, but it's talking about just black women and how we fell from like our grace. And not necessarily those of this nation. It's management, growth, or advertising. The show was founded on WMSKOnRadio.com. Things that will want you lifestyle, religion, political affiliation, or personal practice. Is this right on? These shows offer entertainment only. Thanks for listening.
Yes, indeed, yes, indeed, yes, indeed. It is we, the Theshopdmv. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, 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 welcome. It is Wednesday, 7 to 9. Yes, indeed, yes, indeed. It's Wednesday, 7 to 9. It is our new shop time. And right now, we're just going to jump right into it. You know what it is. Monet, the great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, so a quick rundown of this week's hot topics with Monet the Great. First and foremost, we will talk about the 9 deaths that have taken place in the Dominican Republic. 9 Americans in the last, we'll say, 2 months, because I think a couple people were a little further back, have all died in the Dominican Republic. Authorities do not know what is the cause of death. A few of the autopsies have said respiratory failure, but we're not buying that. It's currently being investigated by the FBI. So if you are planning a trip to the Dominican Republic, do not drink the alcohol in the minibar. O.J. Simpson has made his appearance on Twitter.
The juice is loose.
There was a fake O.J. Twitter handle that came out, and he was saying things like, I did it, and Chloe's my daughter, whatever. And so O.J. made an official Twitter page, and he came and he did a video and explained, like, I never slept with Kris Jenner, Chloe's not my daughter, some other stuff. I didn't really watch the whole thing, but OJ is officially on Twitter, so if you want to follow him, he's there for you. Oprah Winfrey, Ava DuVernay, and Gayle King have all said they do not want to be called auntie by anyone that is not their niece. Though some people see the term auntie as a term of endearment or a term of honoring an elder in the family or your mother's or father's close friend, Oprah, Ava, and Gayle, or is it Ava? I don't know. Oprah, DuVernay, and Gayle have all said that it makes them feel old. I didn't know that they were young, but if you want to cross them, do not call them auntie. 46 started his official run for a second term last night in a campaign rally that he held in Florida. There were about 10,000 people present. He spent about 20 minutes discussing Hillary Clinton, although she is not, in fact, running for president again. He also started a chant that they were going to build the wall. He says they are doing great work and improvement and that he's redesigned the wall. Officially, there is no wall. The wall that is there was always there. The other thing they've done is strengthen the infrastructure. He did say that starting next week that ICE was going to be sweeping through the country and getting rid of all the illegal immigrants that have found their way into America.
Hot damn, 45.
Whoopi Goldberg said on The View the other day that these celebrities that get upset and cry and pitch a whole fit because their news has been leaked, what did they think was going to happen? You take a nude picture on your phone and get saved to the cloud, and someone is going to hack you, and they will have access to your news, so she doesn't know what you're crying about. She made mention of this because Bella Thornton, I don't know who that is, some actress, had recently told everyone that she was being blackmailed for her news, and she was scheduled to come on The View. Once she heard what Whoopi had to say, she got on Instagram doing her usual white woman cry of help and come save me, because how dare Whoopi tell me that I'm not allowed to take naked pictures of myself. The Toronto Raptors are the new NBA champions. What was the game? Monday? Sunday? Sunday? Let's go Sunday.
No, that's Sunday. It was during the week sometime.
Okay, well, since the last time we were here, last Wednesday, the Toronto Raptors won their first NBA championship. Cassie, Diddy's longtime girlfriend, well, now ex-girlfriend, is pregnant by her new boyfriend. Diddy wished them well. The mayor of Baltimore, Mr. Jack Young, held a press conference today in which he essentially said he is sick of y'all shit. He said that he's sick of deaths and murders of men, women, and children coming across his pager or across his desk, and that no one is there helping to figure out what's going on. He said the citizens of Baltimore know who the people are that are killing people, but no one wants to say anything. If you want to help out your community, you need to step up and turn these people in. Last but not least, today we are celebrating Juneteenth. Juneteenth is the oldest known celebration commemorating the end of slavery in the United States, dating back to 1865. It was on June 19th that the Union soldiers, led by Major General Gordon Granger, landed in Galveston, Texas, with news that the war had ended and that the enslaved were now free. Note that this was 2.5 years after President Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation, which had become official January 1st, 1863. The Emancipation Proclamation had little impact on the Texans due to the minimum number of Union troops to enforce the new executive order. However, with the surrender of General Lee in April of 1865 and the arrival of General Granger's crew, the forces were finally strong enough to influence and overcome the resistance. Happy Juneteenth.
Yes, indeed, yes, indeed, yes, indeed. Happy Juneteenth.
And that is the moment with Monet the Brave.
That is the moment, but you already know I got some 411. Can we go back to that second to last story?
Jack Young?
No, before that.
Whoopi Goldberg.
Before that.
And Cassie.
Okay, Cassie.
Okay.
So check this out. So Cassie and Diddy was together for a while. I forgot the young lady who came out and said she had also been with Diddy during the time that she was with Cassie. He was with Cassie. And Diddy was so abusive to the young lady and verbally, I don't know physically, but verbally to her. And I don't understand why Diddy even congratulated Cassie. But anyway, I think it's one of those songs. He's gonna have another Last Train to Paris. How he lost Jennifer Lopez. So that's that story. Real quick, another thing. Happy Father's Day. We missed that. We weren't here for that. So happy Father's Day to all the good fathers out there, and happy Father's Day to me.
Happy Father's Day.
Thank you. Last week I missed. They had a street naming for Christopher Wallace in the borough of Brooklyn, New York City. All of the Junior Mafia was there. Valletta was there, and his 2 children were there in Brooklyn, New York City. So they named it a street off of St. James and Fulton. Biggie was raised in a brownstone on St. James Place. Also, Cuba Gooding Jr. was locked up. They're trying to say that he had forcible touching. He said he ain't with that. He ain't with that shit. It wasn't him.
What is that?
He was touching somebody.
Forcible. That must be a word you came up with.
No. I got the news.
That's what it says?
Yeah, I got the news. Yeah, forcible touching. I got it. That's
a
it.
real charge.
Yeah. I'm going through my things that I. Also, 25 years ago, speaking of the juice was loose. 25 years ago, I want to say earlier this week, 25 years ago, he was loose on the highway on California. The police was chasing him down. The Ford Bronco, he actually made that thing very popular as well. So yeah, the juice was loose, and he's on Twitter. What else did I have? What the 411? Oh, so of course I have my dum bumper the week. I'm gonna give it to Tory Lanez. So Tory Lanez, basically what's happening there, trying to say that he was trying to save. So they had I think a BBW in his video, and the director, he's saying trying to take her out to put a skinny girl in, but then they're trying to say, oh no, that ain't the case because that director always uses BBWs, and he's just trying to, I guess, manipulate the internet and trying to become the hero. But Tory Lanez, you're an idiot. Either you're gonna be with the program or not. You know, it's like having a dark-skinned girl or light-skinned girl.
So that's what it was.
I think it's either that one or I think it's he did that one and another guy, Nick Patrick, when they did the BBW.
Right.
So yeah, so both of them get the Nick Patrick and also Troy Lane. If you're gonna be with one or with the other, I mean, it doesn't matter. Dark skin, light skin, come on, we just can't have it all. So what you gonna do, Troy Lane? You can't be on one side and not on the other side. Nothing's wrong with dark skin and nothing wrong with BBWs. Nothing wrong with light skin, nothing wrong with skinny girls, and nothing wrong with everybody. Just give everybody a shot, give everybody a chance. So that's my 411. That's what I got for today. So today we have a good topic, and also I want to introduce you all. Last week she was here, Dr. Queen. So now she is going to be a part of the show on a regular basis, and so she will be one of the shopkeepers. So you'll be seeing. So you'll be seeing her on a regular basis. You know. Dr. Queen is in the building, y'all. So this week is her week. This week is her week, y'all. So she's running this thing, and we're gonna turn it over to Dr. Queen. Let them know what's going on this week.
All right. I wanted to ask about the Whoopi Goldberg thing.
Uh-huh.
So I'm all for like white privilege, so I get that.
Okay.
I know her crime. But what should they do when they want to take news? Should they just not take them at all, you think? Because I mean, technically, if you take a nude in your phone, right, I should be able to have it and send it whoever I send it to, but I guess it's because I'm in the limelight, I gotta be mindful of what I'm doing.
I think so.
So where would you take the nude? On the regular camera? Or just don't take them at all?
I wouldn't take them. Like, if you ask me personally, like, I probably wouldn't take them, or, like, so, I don't have an iPhone, so I don't know how, like, that whole cloud, like, storage situation works.
I know,
like, all my stuff goes to my Google Photos, and you gotta have my password to get in that, I guess. I don't know, I don't have any news to be leaked.
I don't take news, and I'm not a star either, but I just wondered that, because that's something that you probably said. I take that people take news and they send it to their whoever.
Right.
And I guess because you're in the limelight, people want your news.
Yeah.
Give me them news. Give me them news. Wash your legs and give me them news.
So
tonight
we're going to talk about the plight of the independent black woman. So I consider myself to be an independent black woman, and because of my project that I'm working on, the femininity and womanhood, I'm taking a deeper look at myself. Mm-hmm. So what do you think is the plight of the independent black woman?
What do I think the plight is? I think that so when you say the plight, like the problem or just the journey?
Both.
So I think that the journey of the overly strong independent black woman is a lonely one. Because when you're independent and you're strong and you can handle all this, when you're going through, you don't tell people. And I sometimes have a tendency to just be like, I can handle all this and smile on the outside, but when I go home, like, I'm not doing as good as I thought, as everyone else thinks I'm doing. So I think that the journey can be a lonely one because you have a fear of letting people in, because you were raised that you got to take care of this by yourself. I think part of the problem, well, I don't want to call it a problem because there's nothing wrong with being strong and independent, but I think that I guess part of the issue with being strong and independent, we'll go with challenge. Also just falls back into the I can do it by myself thing. Because you were raised by your mother and your grandmother that a woman can do everything that she has to do to take care of her family and her kids, then you find yourself lonely or alone because you don't know how to properly submit to a man and let him be the head of your household and the leader of your life, because that's not how you were raised to do it. That's my thought. Again, I don't think it's a problem with being strong and independent, but I think there needs to be an equal balance to being strong and independent. Like, you need to be able to take care of yourself and do it yourself, but you also need to know how to be led.
Okay. I agree with that. I think one of my challenges, and it just from doing a project that I'm doing, is saying that just exactly what you're saying. I mean, I am used to doing it by myself, and I thought that that's the norm. And I know even with asking for help, whether it be a man or woman, it just be like, I really got to be so desperate in order for me to say, I really, 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 really need your help.
Right.
But then if they say no,
Then I'm never ask you.
then I'm gonna ask you again. But maybe I shouldn't have waited till I was destitute. Maybe I should have did it before then. Maybe I should have just was like, okay, I just need help because I'm tired of carrying it alone.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things I feel like is the biggest thing is when you just mentioned about your grandmother raising you, or your mother raising you.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we don't even know how to trust men or listen to men,
Right.
to even take direction from them. So when you talked about submission, you talked about just going on your own and going home and being by yourself and crying and lonely. That's very true. And overly strong, I have to really kind of sit with that a little bit.
Okay.
Just because when I thought about independent, I automatically assumed overly strong. So that's an assumption, you know what they say about that.
Okay.
Of yourself. So the question was, what do you think is the plight of the independent black woman? Or struggles, or journey, or challenge, whichever word you want to use.
I think a lot of it stems from the type of men that we dealt with.
Mm-hmm.
Because many times I done dealt with somebody and felt like, but now I'm seeing things in another light. Because when you dealing with a man that was raised right,
Mm-hmm.
your problems become his problem, and he finds a solution for it. So therefore, the other type of men that I dealt with, it was like a different ballgame. I got it. And I had some problems, some issues. I got it. Or he not where I am, where I know I can't ask him for this, so I'm not even going to ask. So you just automatically just take the role, take the lead, and do everything that you really shouldn't have to, but you do.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it's just more just making it happen, taking care of home, taking care of things, going to work. Just it kind of like I think one of y'all just said something. You just kind of grow up like big mom, everybody. Them type of women always held you down. Grandma, even if your auntie got to help out, women just always sorted out for the most part. Like my great grandfather. He was there, but he made the money. He gave it to my grandma, but she took care of everything.
Mm-hmm.
That was the type of, that's how my great grandparents was. Then my grandmother, she just independent. Oh, she did her thing, not really worried about no man. She made her money, she was a hustler, and the same with my mother. So, but I just think it stems from the type of men that we deal with.
So my mother is one of 7.
Mm-hmm.
It's what number did she fall in?
She's a middle child.
I don't know which one. But of those 7, there's only one boy. There's only one boy. So I was raised by my grandmother was married but not married, and then she had all those girls, and most of them were not married. So I was raised in a culture of strong, independent. Not even don't have to be strong, just independent black women have to take care of things on their own. So of course they're gonna instill in their daughters like, you can do this shit on your own, girl. You got this. I can do it. You can do it. Let's make it happen. But those same women coddle the hell out of their sons.
Oh yes.
I mean, they treat their sons like just the most delicate thing in the whole world. You just be like, wait, that's not how it went with me.
That goes back to the what he went to. If you ever read it, it's talking about not breaking the buck, but he basically raised the woman to take the opposite way. So she's strong, right, and she can handle it because she want to protect her baby boy because she watched what happened to her husband and to the father and all of that. So like I want to keep him safe because the world is going to take him down. And that is really what's the hindrance because I think that black women and black men are not really raised to be compatible with each other. If you think about it from the perspective you just gave, you said something about your grandfather, he gave the money, he was there, but did you really see his role and how that go, and then how you looking at, well, I can do it on my own, well, I can handle this, I can take care of it, because my grandmother did it, because your grandmother did it. Pacha, have you encountered independent black women? Like, how do you view them? Do you want a woman who feel like she can do everything on her own, or do you want a woman who can kind of come to you when she needs something or kind of ask for assistance?
Of course, I want an independent woman. I don't want a beggar. I don't want somebody who's gonna always have to depend on me. But I'm the type of person who, if I'm there with you, if this is our one-on-one situation, I'm there with you. If you have an issue, I'm gonna help you out. If I have an issue, I hope you help me out. A team. But I don't want somebody stronger than me, but I want somebody who can hold their own. If something was to ever happen, they understand that they got it. But I don't want nobody who just, oh, I'm just going to depend on this person all my whole time, the whole time we together, whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? I think that's just like, I guess I said turn off, like, but I mean, my mother held it down for my whole life. So, in the earlier shows, we talked about single families. I was raised in a single mother household with a whole bunch of my homeboys. They all been raised in single households with mothers. So I know a strong woman, you know what I'm saying? So, and kudos to my mother. She ain't never had to look on the outside or look for help. She did it on her own with a boy. So, I don't want nobody, like I said, I don't need nobody who's just dependent on a man, but I want somebody who's also just going to be trying to be stronger than me.
Got it. What do y'all think created the independent black woman? Like, what do you think was the creation there? Because it wasn't always like that. Women didn't always just do everything on their own.
So in what was it, the 60s? Remember that movie? Was it Geraldine or Claudine? Where back in the day, like the 60s and 70s, when women were on welfare, the man couldn't live in the house, and so not that all black women were on welfare,
right?
But the ones that were on welfare, like the man couldn't live in the house, and the welfare officer used to come to your house to visit.
Check everything.
Right. So there was a, I guess that's part of systematic racism.
Yeah.
So there was a systematic racism issue going on right there that the man couldn't be in the house. And even if he was sneaking in the house, every so often we had to put him out the house and the kids had to act like he wasn't there. And then that showed the hierarchy of we need the money more than we need you. And so that can weigh down on a man if he feels like you're willing to bow down to these white people for the couple of dollars they're going to give you instead of just trusting and believing in me that I can take care of it. I also think just like with everything, there's change all the time. Like things are always changing. And so I feel like our great-grandmothers and the ones before that in the 30s and 20s and 40s, like it was just some shit they was willing to put up with. Like Earl had a family over here and had another family over there, and everybody knew, but the women stayed in their place because women didn't have.
Was he taking care of everything?
Right, he was taking care of everything, but women didn't have the same opportunities. Like they couldn't get the jobs that we could get now. They couldn't be the CEO. They could be a teacher, and then once you got pregnant, you had to stop working. Like I used to work in the nursing home system, and all the ladies, I mean, it was usually a bunch of older white ladies, but like they went to high school.
We're going to go and pay these bills. You talking?
Okay. They went to high school, they went to college, they got married within a year or two after college, and they were like nurses or teachers or whatever, but as soon as they got pregnant, they never worked again. So back in that time, that's what you did. When you got pregnant, you just never worked again. So women didn't have the opportunities that they had. So if they got more opportunities, and in addition to the whole welfare system and keeping the men out of the house, I think that is what grew the strong, independent black woman. I do sometimes think there's a difference between an independent black woman and a strong, independent black woman. Like, those are kind of two different people. Because you can be independent and still have a man in your life and him leading your household.
For sure.
You can be strong and do that too. But the difference between the two is the independent woman knows how to be led, and the strong woman has such a strong hold on, I'm going to take care of this by myself, it's going to be harder.
And that, I mean, that's what when you said, once they got pregnant, they never worked again.
Yes.
That is like amazing to me. Because right now, I'm pregnant and I'm not working because I can't work right now. But now when you think about, I'm thinking about back in the day, even was it more homeschooling going on? How were the kids being reared? What kind of behavior were they showing if the mother was actually home with those children? That just got me thinking about that. And how now, when you get pregnant, the first thing you may think about as a woman, I know I do, is how am I going to provide for this child? Even though technically that's not even my challenge. It should be the father. You know, but even all the women that I know, even if the father is there, they think about how am I going to provide what am I going to do with my life? Can I finish 4th day in school? Do I need to get a better job? Like, you're thinking about all these things in addition to being pregnant. So that was like really, really a good point for me when I'm just thinking how that was just automatic. You got pregnant, it ain't work.
You didn't.
It was just.
So there's this TV show I watch on Netflix. It's a British show. It's called To Call the Midwife. It's such a good show.
It's called The Midwife?
To Call the Midwife. So it's all about midwives in England, like in the slums of England before. Well, it starts before Black people got there, but now like the Caribbeans are coming. Anyway, so there's a couple of instances where like there was this woman that was a teacher and she got pregnant, but she wasn't married. And when they found out she was pregnant, she had to get fired because you can't teach and be pregnant. And then when they found out that she was pregnant and didn't have a husband, then she was shunned away, like she couldn't teach the kids because that was immoral. And then there was like another like midwife that was working when she got married and ready to start a family, she had to stop being a midwife. So it was just a normal thing that once you started a family, you didn't work anymore.
And the job was bringing kids.
Right.
I think it's just a challenge because it is a lot of strong women. I think a lot of men really don't know what their place is. They don't know what their place is.
I got a friend, I think she gonna do it.
So she wants a man that can take the lead. They've been together like 15 years. So she wanted a man to take the lead. The other day she said to me, "Well, I gotta do everything." And I said, "You've been doing everything. Don't expect him to all of a sudden start doing everything. It's been 14, 15 years. He's comfortable with you doing everything, taking the role, so you can't be mad at him." And then I guess a communication play a lot of part, a lot of part in it too, because she should be able to go to him and say, "I need you to do this, 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 and that," and let him get it done. Maybe he's the type of man that don't see what needs to be done. You got tired because you got something like that. So she's fussing, complaining, ready to break up with him. But I'm like, yo, this been going on for 15 something years. It's like, why? No, they're not married. No, they're not married. But it's like, yeah, you want him to change all of a sudden. Like, come on, right? Like, it's not gonna happen overnight. No, not at all.
But then that I mean, we talking about that, but when you just say communication, if you're an independent woman, do you know how to ask?
And I think that's what the
do you know how to say, "I'm really tired of doing it on my own, and I really need your help, and these are the things I need you to do."
That's what I told you.
Or is it just an expectation that you see I'm tired,
right?
So you should know that I
You
need
can't
to.
assume that he's gonna assume that.
You know what I'm saying? Especially if you created that monster.
Yeah, right.
If you created that monster, that's been the whole gist of your relationship. It's like one of those things. Hutch, do you think that a man should just know what a woman needs? In reference to, like, if a woman is, let's say if you need a woman and she doing everything, taking care of kids, house, school, own car, all of this stuff, and clearly she's doing everything, should she ask you for assistance, or would you just know I need to step in and help her?
If we're a team, what I need to ask for? We're a team. I know that on Sundays we're gonna cook, or we're gonna wash. We gotta get the kids ready for the week. I know that groceries gotta be provided, all those things. So I should have to ask what's happening.
You should.
So I wonder if that's just based off the man.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm. Oh, go ahead. I'm just case by case.
Yeah.
All right, we back, y'all. We back real quick. We are talking about the plight of the independent Black woman. Also, earlier we did introduce Dr. Queen. She will be regularly stepping in. So welcome her on the live. Welcome her. Also, of course, we have State First in U.S. Magazine, your official source to the streets from prison, highlighting high-profile cases, corruption in the police department, government, the prison system, wrongful convictions, and success stories of the former incarcerated. If you or someone you know have a story to tell, want a feature or ad space, please email statefirstusmag@gmail.com. Get your print digital copy today. So yes, we have that, and guess what? Yes, we are home of the Cheryl Underwood Morning Show on WSK Online Radio. So real quick on IG, for those IG folks, I did not forget you. We have been talking about some real things here. So I want to read real quick. I am the reason earlier said, I am the reason underscore said, we take control, meaning women, to avoid being let down. Most of us are taught not to depend on others because no one will get it done like we will. Who is this? Colossus 56?
Damn.
Good point. There's no problem with a woman being independent, but she has to know how to let a man be a man.
That's right, baby.
If he is showing that, he is in fact a man.
That's right.
And then, man, like man. And I am the reason, of course, underscore said, we both should bring something to the table or build the table together. Amen. But again, this new generation, of course, those ones, is messed up. It starts with the parents. Yeah. They fucked about here. But yeah, we'll continue on. Dr. Queen is leading this thing. This is her show today. And we breaking her in real quick and real good. So go ahead and continue on with this conversation. IG, we still are tuned in. And go ahead, ladies.
So what do you think the struggle is with the independent woman communicating her needs? What is the struggle?
You might ask for too much, you might leave, you know. Some
Yeah.
people might, you know, I'm not one of them. If you leave, you're just gonna leave. But if I can't depend on you, or if I can't ask you to do something, or you can't take the lead, then just go. But some women, you know, some women that I know, I guess they don't want to put too much on their name and feel like, you know what, I just do it.
Is that in a relationship stance, or is that in a we talking stance? Is that in a we fucking
hard.
stance? What stance would that be?
It's nowadays it's so hard. The fucking stage, the relationship stage, the female might think they're in a relationship, the dude might think they just fucking. So I'm just going by like females that I know.
But doesn't that go back to communication?
Yeah, absolutely.
See, I think one thing and you think another thing.
Yeah,
And
we all are,
communicate.
and that's why it's
We all are.
Right, but when you fucking, a lot of these situationships, people tend to, oh well, now I need this, or I need help with that. So
I think you need to clear that up.
it doesn't matter. I'm just saying, if you've been fucking and there's no established status, how do we now say, oh well, I need this because we fucking? That means I'm supposed to be.
I got a question. So we as women, do you clear that up before you start asking for things? Because I do. I need to know, like our status, our relationship status. I do.
Oh, before you actually have sex with them, you want
No, not before sex. When we're like almost past the fucking, like we're in the fucking stage, and we're together, we spend a lot of time together. We need to, are we together? That's me.
Yeah, I think it's a conversation that both of us gotta have.
Right. You can't just go into it and go with the flow and the sink.
No.
You need to have a clear understanding. So we're both on the same page.
But today I was talking to two guys. One of them is 59, the other one is 33. So the 59-year-old said his expectation based off how he was raised is if he's fucking someone, he knows he's supposed to give us some money.
That's the older guy.
So he was like, it's just what he knows.
Right.
It's like, that's what you're supposed to do. And then I asked him about courting. I asked him about if it's somebody he really want to be with. So he was like, well, if it's somebody I really want to be with, we're going to go out, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. But even if we just fucking, I'm still going to kick you off a couple hours just because I feel like that's what I'm supposed to do.
I don't like the supposed to do.
Well, hold on, let me finish.
Go ahead.
So the 33-year-old, I asked him, I said, well, I'll be 35 in November. So we in the same generation. So I said, so how do you court? And he was like, what is courting? So I said, well, how do you date? Right. He was like, well, we'll go out. Right? We'll go out. And I said, okay. I said, so do your relationship start with you just going out, or are you fucking first and then somehow end up in a relationship? Is that our generation? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah.
So if that's what we're doing, Now, the 59-year-old said his mother taught him, raised him on how to treat a woman by how he taught her to treat her, the mother.
Mm-hmm.
So the other guy was kind of quicker when me and him was talking, but it was totally different. The way that he viewed women, the way, and I mean, it was a short, sweet conversation with the 33-year-old, but I think it's just been some type of lack of communication because, and the way he's raised, because why is that not okay for me to ask you for something, even if we just having sex? Why is that an issue in our generation? Because it's like, what? Because I'm giving you the dick, that's enough? Is that how it's supposed to be?
I don't think that's the issue. I think I just don't like the way that you said the 59-year-old said it's supposed to.
But that's
Hold on.
a lot of.
I'm not gonna say it's supposed to, but it goes hand in hand. Eventually, you're fucking, so therefore, down the road, if you say, "Hey, can I get a couple dollars?" or "Can you help me with this?" It goes hand in hand. But to say I'm supposed to do that, I don't think that's the word that we're looking for, because you're supposed to get married. You're supposed to, if that's how we're gonna do a supposed to thing, get married, have kids, blah blah blah. That's how it's supposed to go, right? So therefore, I don't think it's supposed to say, "Oh, we're fucking, so I'm supposed to give you here go your money on the dresser."
So would you feel better if you said should instead of supposed?
Yeah, I say should. I mean,
So
it goes hand in hand.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If we're having relations or we're in a situationship, and the person says, "Hey, can you help me with such and such?" Even as a man, if I say, "Hey, I'm down on my luck," I shouldn't feel bad or be like, "Oh, I'm a scrub," or whatever word they use nowadays. If I say, can I get a couple help or whatever it may be. You know what I'm saying? But of course, when you're in a situation where a situationship and something comes up, the average stand-up guy is gonna say, "Here you go." Now the 33-year-old that you're talking to, he's just gonna say, "Well, we just fucking go ahead." So therefore, when they ask him, he about his business. He goes to the next one.
I thought she was really comparing the generation.
No, I understand. I like the wording and all that shit.
But if we would have had like 50 over men, if we had 50 men over 50 in here, 75% of them would say the same thing. I think so. So that was the whole purpose of me having a conversation, because my next project is masculinity and manhood. But I think the role would be, so if we base it off roles too, the role of a man is to be the protector and the provider, if that's how you think. And if we still use the words like should be or supposed to be. So if you base it off that, then technically he wouldn't be asking you for anything. He would try to figure out how to get it on his own. If you basing it off those definitions. And now when I'm thinking about just like the independence, so for me, I struggle with asking for money because I feel like you should know what I need. I struggle with that. That's a struggle.
How should I know you? How should I know what you need?
So I'm
conversation wise or what?
So what I'm telling you is just it's my issue.
I'm asking you. How should I know?
I feel like you see me doing it. You see me out here doing it. You see me out here working.
If I see you
So
going to the grocery,
need money for what?
right? If I see you going to the grocery store every Sunday, you go to the grocery store, and you seem to be fine. Every week you go to the grocery store, or every week you buy whatever for yourself or your kids, whatever it may be. How do I know?
Well,
See, that's a lack of communication, though.
So that's the point. So I'm not against what you're saying, but I just also feel like even if I'm doing it on my own, even if I'm not struggling, I feel like you should give me money. Curious. Yes. I'm telling you how I feel about it.
I think,
You should be able to ask them.
But like,
I agree. I'm not against that. I agree with that. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I don't
should
know.
be
I guess
able to.
you should be able to. But like, if you in a relationship, because I don't understand a situationship. Like, I feel like I'm too old to be in a fucking situation. Either we together or we not. Like,
That's today's time, though. Everything,
right, but like,
everything into we fucking and then it leads to we're supposed to be together, but we didn't put the title on it, so it's just.
I just feel like for myself, like I'm too old for that. Like, what are we doing? Like, has to be a conversation. But I feel like if we're in a relationship and you know that every month I go get my nails done, and at some point in time, you should be like, so how much does it cost?
Even if I got it, even if you don't need to ask, just say, here, take this $20.
Let me ask you a question real quick.
Right.
If you deal with somebody and they got kids, so the man knows that you have kids, do you think that he should provide for your nails, or he should provide like food for the household.
Whatever you want to do.
Whatever you want to do.
Right, but which one is more important? Which one will make it feel more like, oh, this is the stand of God? Because nails ain't shit.
Well, we just use that as an example.
No, I'm just asking.
Either one. So that's the point. That even if you see me going to the grocery store, like you said, was it every Sunday?
Yeah.
Even though I got it, just go ahead and say here. Simple out.
Yeah.
All right, real quick. Iron the reason is getting it every day.
Who's funny thing?
Go
ahead, read it.
Iron the reason underscore. So she says, that's when the independent woman thing comes in. We don't have enough strength to say, I need help.
Exactly.
But at the same time, you know these things need to get done, so why not help? I feel you on that.
But you need to communicate, like you said, though.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
still need to communicate.
But see, this. So when I say communicate, right? If we have a conversation, so I'm at work, you at work, or when we text or whatever it can be, and you just be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get my nails done today, since we want to talk about, keep on nails. I'm going to get my nails done today. All right. So we just talking. So I'm coming over. So usually this is my appointment day. So I'm coming over.
Cash at me.
No.
While we're on the phone, you should be cash at me.
I mean, sometimes cash app is something's good, but sometimes the situation, I ain't fuck with that cash app shit. Fuck that. So I'm coming over for my appointment.
Right.
So before I leave, I don't do hand to hand. I hate hand to hand. Oh my goodness. I hate a hand to hand. I ain't even no money on hand.
Really?
Yeah, I don't do no money on hand.
That's so interesting.
Jesus.
Why?
Because I feel like we're doing a transaction.
It is.
It is a transaction, but I don't want to feel like
It is.
yeah, but I'd rather just do a little put it behind your little perfume or whatever. Now, nowadays, okay,
How you leave.
in 2019, if you're dealing with somebody, that's different. Cash app, it is what it is. So if you're dealing with somebody, cash app is doing it with it. But if that's your little side piece, your little bun, whatever it may be, I can't. I ain't never been that hand to hand before. Oh my goodness.
But you just gonna leave for $40 after your appointment.
You just put it up.
And while you take the trash out on your way out.
I can do that too. So you just put it or maybe you might be. Let's see. You might be bringing a little bit of groceries, or you might be bringing something. You put a little money in the bag. But
No, I'm not going to do
shit, please.
I might throw the bag away.
Right.
But see, you gotta be able to put it, and so they can see it.
I got
You just can't be putting like
you.
under the water and some shit like that.
But like,
You're not saying you're not giving the money though. So
you put the money in.
Yeah, Keisha. I'm putting it on the table. Yeah, but I'm
right. If you put it on a nightstand, that's a transaction.
It is, but it feels. I just can't be hand in hand like
But
that.
you want me to say no? This is money later. Like if you just slid that shit behind the perfume, can I just slide it and keep on about my life and be like, oh, thanks for that 40 you like?
You don't say thank you.
No, fuck that.
Don't say thank you.
If you an adult can put that shit in my hand.
No.
If you can't give me $40 fucking, I don't have to tell you thank you.
I'm giving it to you though.
My shit.
I'm giving it to you.
I found that shit on my time.
No.
I fucking found
You just
$40
have to be
on my
there.
time.
So I might be like, did you see that? Did you get that?
Yeah, you like that?
As long as it's knowledge, we acknowledge.
If you ask me, yeah. I know you like
See,
that.
with different people, there's different dialogue.
Right.
There's different situations
That's why
for different.
communication is key.
Exactly. So
Right?
therefore, while you going through your day, you like, I'm hungry. If I'm at work and you're at work, once again, it's either will be the 2019, 2018 cash app, or we'll go to the regular old school. I'm gonna send a delivery to your house.
DoorDash.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm gonna send a delivery. Here with the food. Prayerfully, they'll be there still at the house.
Right.
But people, like you said, the 33-year-old, his knowledge of things is just I'm just hitting it and going. He's not trying to be a keeper. He's not trying to do none of those type of things.
Maybe not, because he's still with his baby mother. And
Baby mother.
He's still, listen,
How old is the baby?
He has multiple children.
See, that's the shit I'm
So I
talking
don't-
about.
I'm
You're
not-
not going to keep having babies.
Right, I'm not.
But
But I suppose that's another time.
Once again, with the baby mother, she is what it is. They got multiple kids. She ain't worried about him leaving. He ain't worried about her leaving because they got multiple kids. So he ain't got to worry about too much for her. But for the other ones that you're trying to keep on the side, he got to work. He got to do a little bit of work, and he's not putting in the work. So the 59-year-old, he knows. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I'm coming to my appointment. There you go. Blah, 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 blah.
But he's married.
But he still
So
doing
he's
appointments.
married, and he still do his thing, but he still feel like,
You know.
Ain't nothing wrong with
you know, and he still feel like he's supposed to take care of whoever he
She just said this is too much. What's wrong with too much? This is life. This is what happens every day.
So when, I guess in reference to communicating, let's say for independent, you say you'll have an issue. Do you think that asking or communicating her needs is maybe for her as a sign of weakness?
I don't know if it's a sign of weakness. I don't like to come outright and be like, yo, can I get $40 to get my nails done? I mean, if we talk about it, like, I just can't be on the phone with you. What?
Where is God?
Even if you got the money,
Right,
and your nail appointment coming up,
right.
you paying for my nails?
See, I
Is it
never-
artist right here too?
Yeah, she is an artist. So, I don't know, so like, when I was younger, when I was younger and I was dealing with my ex-husband, like when we first started dating, like I would have small conversations like that. Like, so I'm trying to get my nails done today, you know, it costs $40. And from there, like, he won't give me the 40.
Right, okay.
But
So you ask, it's
But
not outright.
right,
Yeah,
so like I feel
okay.
like, hey, you know, I'm
Right.
trying to get my nails done
Right.
today, it's gonna cost $40, you know, but I got a couple other things I need to take care of over here.
That's too much
you know.
explaining. But I got
I don't know. It's just one of those like I don't want to come off as begging. Like I don't want to come off like I'm begging you to
He
take
spoke
care
about
of you.
begging. He spoke
Right,
about
and I don't want to
begging.
come off as like I'm begging you to take
If
care
I'm a
of
Jew,
you.
I'm
I
a
can take
dick.
care of.
But the interesting point about it is, the interesting point about the begging for me is, with this one. That's what I'm
So real
saying.
quick, while they go through their cash app and all this bullshit. NY Tobias says, why is she asking for money?
Where is your nail?
Where's your
I
nail
got
money?
you got the nail money, but what you pay for
But
it?
see, that's the shit that I'm talking about. Like I have my nail money,
Right.
but what's wrong with me asking you
Right.
for the nail money? Just like I wouldn't have a problem buying you something or taking care of something for you or whatever, but
Is that only in a relationship? Or is that if you are fucking?
I'm too old to
You
do
wear on
fucking.
a $40 nail 40.
Like that's just my thing. Like I don't. Well, okay. So personally, at the moment, I feel like I'm completely fucking, but I don't necessarily.
And he know that.
Like it might could have.
My daughter came in
Right
with some
now.
glass nails or some shit like that. Fucking
And you on top.
Right.
So I think,
My nails are like $40.
Not
So you get like one design. Look at all the shit I get.
Yeah, I don't get all that shit. Like these are my real nails. I get gel polish, 35. Give a little $5 tip, $40. I'm a cheap nail lady.
well, I don't pay to get on that.
See, I got the patience.
So I still get them done. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't send me this $40. But that's something that I felt like it was a sign of weakness because I'm usually one to get it. Yes, I had to ask. Now, let me say this. And the person that I was with, the person that I was with, I didn't have to ask him. So when he got killed,
Depending on the man.
right, but when he got killed, I feel like, now that was 2016, dating for me is so weird because I didn't have to, I never even thought that I was going to be with anybody else for him. So now it's like, it's a new ball game because he would just give me. I didn't have to ask. I didn't have to. So it's a struggle.
Was it he a hustler? A working guy.
He was a
All
worker.
my friends said that.
And I ain't saying he was like paying everything, but he would make sure I had
Yeah.
something.
Somebody else.
He is in here today. God damn it.
That's what I'm saying.
So Tobias. Yeah, I'm well.
Hand out. Who
Tobias.
was Tobias? Because he was
Tobias
Okay,
said.
B's in the building.
Chicks always want a handout or a nigga to take care of them.
It's
But
not
like, I don't understand what's wrong with being
But ask him
taken
if you
care of.
ask for pussy.
Well,
Will you ask for
Tobias,
pussy?
You asking for
Would
pussy?
you ask for pussy? Is that a handout?
But like, I don't understand what's wrong with being taken care of. Like, I don't understand why men don't want to take
But
care of them.
let's be clear. $40 ain't taking care of
They're going in on IG today.
He should tell him he's always got his penis out.
It's
Like,
like,
what you about to
right.
do?
That's right, Key. Is that Uzi with the K?
Okay, B, what it is? B, what's going on?
But no, like for real, Hutch, you're the only man in here, and Tobias, you can comment. What's wrong
And
with a
Kim
man?
and B.
And Kim and B, all y'all. What's the problem with a man taking care of a woman? Like why?
You already got my point across. I mean,
He ain't tripping.
hey.
Is there a limit to what you're willing to
That
do?
irritates me.
What you mean, is there a limit?
But that's probably a guy you would mess.
It all depends on
You see what I'm saying? So it just depends on
what's the
guy.
status with the person you dealing with. If they just a drop off or whatever it may be, a jump off, you know they ain't getting no motherfucker. We ain't going nowhere. We might go get a little chicken box or whatever it may be. But if they somebody you dealing with that person, we going on trips. We at the grocery store. We at the Walmart. We at the such and such together.
They say you really got a lot of
whatever it may be. Yeah. So
It's supposed to.
huh?
A man is supposed to. I agree with you, Brian.
But that energy needs to be reciprocated.
Yeah, damn right. Be
There's nothing
telling.
wrong with it.
I agree.
I agree.
Colossal 56.
Sometimes
Sometimes you don't. Sometimes you don't know it's. Okay. You don't know it's need unless they say it, and you got to know a woman is worth it to take care of. Just because a woman is independent don't mean she is the wife material. Amen.
I agree with that.
That's it. Keep on the conversation. Keep on the conversation. Keep on the conversation. We're gonna go pay these bills. You already know what's going on. Keep on the conversation. And the IG.
But taking care of, though, I think nobody really said big money in you. When we talk about taking care, I mean, you did.
right, and that's why I said like
you asked the question about taking care. But I mean, if you
is there a limit to take
dollars,
care?
yeah, what is taking care? What does that look like?
All right, y'all. I gotta go handle some things. You know, medical calls.
How can it be? So, but now I just so the 59-year-old I'm something. He told me that I need to. He gave me a challenge. He said you make sure you ask for money. He said I want you to just ask. Just start any moment just ask. Now I'm not dating right at this moment, but
She ain't dating. She popping that coochie out y'all. Oh, let's see. I'll go next week.
All right, see you.
all right. So that's just the thing for me, but it just was a big challenge because the person that I had, I didn't have to ask. You know, it was just something that I didn't have. So now when I'm dating, it's different, and I do, and even the men that I talk to, because I have friends who, I personally think every woman should have at least one or two men that they have never slept with to really get really good information from. And I have some friends like that, and I feel like they would tell me stuff that's important because people say, you just seem like you always got it. You always got everything under control. You seem like everything is good. And it's not that a man is not going to help, but they don't know where they fit in. So when we talked about earlier, just the communicating and the independent woman being able to say, and just, or not saying rather, she's not asking or communicating her needs, then do you think frustration comes in with that?
Yep.
That's a good one. Her being not able to communicate?
Her not being able to communicate, or maybe she doesn't have the patience to. Do you think now she's frustrated because you see me doing these things and you're not stepping in?
So in this mom group that I'm in on Facebook, May was he can do it, May. So all the normal things, like when you get home from work, the mom is always the one to cook dinner and get the kids ready for bed and take care of all that stuff. So like they made a commitment, all the women in the group that had like a living man or a husband or whatever, like they made a commitment that they was gonna let their husband start doing shit. So they would come home and they would cook dinner, but then when it was time to like get the kids ready, they would like leave the room or have to run to the store and do something like that. Because
was it communicated though, or was it just like
no, it wasn't a communicated like you on your. Well, I think for some people it was communicated, but it wasn't like everyone like you about to handle this. It was just one of those like I want you to, because so their thought was like he's there and he's present in the house, but he doesn't understand that all this other shit is going on
around used to doing it.
Right, he just used to be doing like you know that at 8 o'clock the kids take a bath and you on the couch watching the game like, all right, y'all, go ahead upstairs, your mother about to give you a bath or whatever. But like he doesn't understand what the hell just went down for 45 minutes for bath time. So they had this whole like he can do it May, and there was a whole lot of conversation amongst, because it's a group of all Black women. So there's a whole lot of conversation amongst these women and mothers and wives of, I know that he can do it, but I've always done it. So now how am I going to make him do it? And a lot of them said that it came out really successful. Like their husband started to catch on like, okay, I see what you're doing. Let's have a conversation about where you need me to help.
So is that indirect communication then?
I think it was indirect communication that then turned into a conversation of, all right, I see that you're trying to say that I should help out more. So how about when you come home, I'm gonna give you 20 minutes and then, you know, you can get into whatever. Because I've read this study a few years ago that for women, the mothers of the household, it is more beneficial for us to come into the house and have 20 minutes to just sit down and do whatever. Be watch TV, close our eyes, read a book. If we can have just 20 minutes between work and all our house stuff, like the rest of our day, evening, and week can go so much better than lifestyle. The rest of the day can go so much better and so much easier.
That's good to know.
So it's just something to do.
So you talk about the fact that you don't have an issue with asking, so you communicate very well. That's what you're saying?
Yeah.
So you can communicate your needs. So is there ever a time when you feel like you're frustrated because you're not able to communicate them? Or frustrated maybe for you because you can't get the things that you need?
Maybe back in the day.
Okay.
Depending on who I was dealing with.
Got it.
But now,
So what changed for you? Is it just the man, or is it things that you did for yourself that is like, now I can communicate these things, I'm not just doing it on my own?
see, I'm on a different vibration now. So,
Okay. What's that about?
just more learning myself, more meditating, more taking the time. It's like, okay, don't do this, do that. You know, so since I've gotten to know myself a little better, that changed the type of men I was dealing with. So, yeah, I would say it was a little bit of both. You know, figuring out what was going on with myself and just dealing with a man. Dealing with a man.
Okay. So for me, I feel the same way. So I had posted something on my IG a while ago about no nation being higher than this woman, just because you just made that statement. And I got some backlash for that. It's in my other book, but I got some backlash about it because I agree that men will stand up when we do that. I believe now all men ain't gonna be, and they ain't gonna stand up. But when you change yourself as a woman, you will attract a different type of man. And even if you attract the men you attracted before, you're gonna be like, nah.
Exactly.
And that's you're gonna be like,
not this time.
no, not this time, because you made some changes within yourself. So then those things will happen. And I think the same for men. When men start to value themselves in a way that they know what their role is, and I am supposed to be the protector and the provider, then the way they move and the type of women that they decide to be with will also change. Yeah. It will just change. So, in communicating when it comes to Black women, I think one of the challenges is because you cannot communicate, you get angry or frustrated. So then you get angry, and instead of really saying that your feelings are hurt, you start to get angry, and then now you get
to get it to you.
Yes.
And that's what my friend is doing.
Yes.
Now, he don't even know why she mad.
Yes.
He don't know what's going on. He's just sitting there looking stupid. So, yeah, you just wait on the attitude.
Yes. You
on the phone with your friends, talking about him.
Yes. But you won't talk to him.
Right.
And the idea, the saying is, anger is the second emotion, hurt is the first one.
Mm-hmm.
So, you had mentioned on a submission is it was a little snippet, I thought I had it right out. But it talked about submission and how the Black woman, if she learns to be submissive, and you have to be submissive to the right person. You can't just be out here just submitting yourself. And I believe that's probably why you started to kind of step more far into your femininity, where it's like I don't have to yell, I don't have to say what you did, I don't have to scream. I can get my needs met, and I can still talk to him with some respect. Here you go. If a Black woman would just change her perception of what submission and surrender means, she could have peace. She could not have this peace until the Black man takes up the banner of change. It is a massive undertaking that only the wise will survive, but only the wise will survive anyway. So when we look at submission and the independent Black woman, a lot of times they don't go hand in hand. In my project, that was one of my questions. How do you view submission? Got a lot of nah. I ain't submissive. I'm not being submissive. I'm not submitting. I'm not doing anything because it's almost like a sign of weakness. It was like if I submit to you, then it's so I'm just saying just based off the so I interviewed 41 women so far. And I would say the women who are in relationships that are still whether they married or not, and they felt safe and protected, they didn't have an issue with the submission. Yes. So what do you think could be done to express the hurt versus the anger?
So as far as being submissive,
This is it's communicating your needs.
me, I don't want that type of energy. I don't want to be feeling like that. So therefore, I'm gonna take a moment to myself, and then I'm gonna be like, we gotta talk.
Okay.
So maybe you can do this on this day, and I can do this on that day, and see how that works. And depending on the type of man you're dealing with, you shouldn't have a problem with trying something, like 50-50. Like, all right, I'll cook on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you do Saturday, something like that. Work out a schedule. And if we can't, like, work it out from there, he might not be the one. Like, we can't work something out. Or if he say, well, let's not do that, let's do this, have an alternative. But communication, like you said, is definitely key. And I think that there's no reason I should be walking around the house mad.
For sure.
Like,
For sure.
and I'm not the type that's gonna be mad and expecting him to be like, what's wrong? No, you going on, man. We gonna sit down. All right, let me take my shower. I'm gonna bring some wine, and we gonna sit down and talk. We gonna talk about what's going on. So as far as me, I don't have no problem with communication. If something's wrong, I'm gonna address it.
I don't like confrontation. I don't like confrontation. So there's two aspects to it. I don't like confrontation with people that I don't care about. If I don't care about you and you're not, like, if I don't care about you and you're not helping my world spin, like, I'm not gonna have a conversation with you. I'm the type of person that I'm just gonna shut down. Like, I'm just gonna shut down and I'm gonna just keep it moving because I need you to understand that you don't make my world go round. And like, the fucked up shit that you're doing to me, and it's gonna come back on you eventually. So I don't do confrontation with people outside of my immediate house. And then one of the other reasons I don't like confrontation is because when I'm sad, I cry. I mean, when I'm angry, I cry.
You don't want nobody.
I don't want nobody to see me crying.
What's wrong?
I don't want nobody to. So when I'm angry and I'm trying to express my anger, my emotion is to cry. Like, it doesn't matter who I'm arguing with, my mom, my kids, my significant other. When I'm in an argument, I'm going to cry because, again, back to I don't like confrontation. Like, I'm either Monet or I'm all the way up here. Like, there's no, like, steps to here. You either got this or you got the woman up here that's hurt and crying and I'm not saying things that I don't mean. When I get to that point, like, everything I'm saying, I thought about that shit on the steps here. You just didn't see them. So
you struggle with communicating. Because you have to get up here before you.
I struggle with communicating things that I deem negative.
Okay.
If I find it to be so, it is always my intention to never hurt anyone. I don't ever want to hurt anyone physically, mentally, emotionally. Like, I don't ever want to be in a position where you can say that I hurt you or I did something to you. So before I get there, I may have like a small conversation or something funny, like, so, whatever, XYZ, and you just gonna have to pick up on it. But like, to have like an outright, like, this really makes me angry because you're a fucking idiot. Like, I'm not gonna do that.
Right.
So that is where I know I have issues when it comes to my strong, independent self, because I know I can do it myself, and I know I can take care of this myself. And if you aren't helping and you're not bringing anything to this table, and I've made mention to it, or we even had that conversation where I was crying, like, you still ain't helping, I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna shut down. I'm gonna get real quiet, and I'm gonna start making movies. And then by the time you really understand what's going on, I'm already gone. That's just the way I
That's
work.
my attitude. What I'm bringing to the table, I'm the table.
Right.
I'm the table. So what do you bring?
And there's nothing wrong with that. That's actually a great thing, and that will help you do some But even when you talk about communicating, it just takes some time to like get yourself together, so it don't come off angry. It's like, okay, you know what? You need to talk, but I'm gonna go ahead and take my time. I'm gonna get my wine. I'm gonna kind of decompress, and then we're gonna go ahead and.
Because I don't want to communicating to me is not yelling and screaming.
You know, we need to. I say something, you say something. I say something, you say something. That's communication.
So in my past, I have found that when I go and take that shower, or I go and walk away and have like the make believe conversation in my head of all the stuff I want to say to you, well, when I come back, I'm overwhelming because now I've had enough time and I got like 15 things that we need to discuss and I need to get all this out. And then I found that in my mates, and even with my kids, it just be like they stopped listening like 3 minutes ago, and I'm like, but no, listen to what's going on. And then I'm also the person that like when we're talking, I'll give you the opportunity to say everything that you want to say, but while you talking, like I'll write it down. Like, oh, go ahead. But I got a comment on that, but I'm gonna let you get everything out, and then I'm gonna go back. So you said this, and then that, and so I'm a very analytical communicator. When it comes to arguing, like I'm very analytical, but I'm gonna let you. Because I feel like it's very rude to interrupt me when I'm speaking. Because if you interrupt me when I'm speaking, that means you don't respect what I have to say.
You're not really listening.
Right. So when you're speaking, I want to give you every opportunity to say what you have to say. I'm not going to cut you off because I want you to understand that I respect what you have to say.
So wouldn't that be the same as like you say you writing it down, but you writing your little rebuttal too? Like I got a comment, I'm writing this down. I hate what you're saying. So you like that. Okay, check.
Right.
I got check. I got one for that. I got check. I got one for that.
It is, but that's just how I do it. But yeah, and I know for me, like that's my problem when it comes to a romantic relationship or the relationship with my children.
Question. So now that you know your issues, or one of your issues that you have, and you're dating, are you going to deal with that now since you're, going on a dating path?
So the other problem is, so here's the thing, I know that it's an issue, per se, I don't have a problem with that.
What?
But I don't have a problem with it.
But you know it's a problem.
I know that, I won't say that it's a problem, I would say that it's an issue.
Okay.
And that if you're going, so I don't necessarily have a problem with it. So if you don't communicate to me as my significant other that you don't like my confrontation style, then I don't have a problem with it. Because I feel, like I said, I'm respecting you and letting you say everything you want to say. I haven't interrupted you. I may have written something down, or if I don't have a piece of paper, like I'll just hold up the number 1. Like to myself, I'll just have my 1 finger up, and then 2, and then when it's my turn to talk,
so you at work.
Yeah, work with you. So like
But she about to go in.
And I am like if we really arguing, I'm sitting there like, now go ahead. Nope, I'm on 2 now. But for me, I don't have a problem with the way I do that. So unless it is communicated to me that that's a problem, I wouldn't see a reason to change it. Like if you tell me like, yeah, that's
too much.
you don't fucking most right. Yeah. Then I'll say, okay, how do you think it would be best to handle this? Because like I said, I don't have a problem with being submissive. I wouldn't say that I'm like overly religious, but I am very religious. And I do know that in the Bible that it says that a woman is to submit to her husband. And that is the way that it is supposed to go. So I know my position as a wife as far as the Bible goes and what I'm supposed to do and how I'm supposed to make it happen. I know that in my younger days I had a problem in public, not necessarily chastising you, but like in public, kind of letting it be known like I don't agree with that. But now that I'm older, like I understand that like when we in public and you whatever, it's like, oh, all right, that's cool. But when we get in the car,
we want to talk about it.
Right. Yeah.
Everything not for everybody.
Right. You mean like something that they did to you specifically, or something that they're doing period, or
just period? Like y'all in the store and he get loud on you, right? And you be like, oh yeah, all right, we're gonna talk about it in the car, not right here in front of all these customers.
Right, like we in the store, we amongst friends, or like you said something when we was amongst friends, like, oh,
right, instead of going back and forth.
Right.
Because I don't look good.
I'm not.
See, I don't deal with men who go back and forth. I feel like that's bitch asses. So it's a difference between communicating And I say something, you say something. I say something, you say something. I say something, you say something. No, I don't like that. I can't. I think that's bitch ass. We not gonna do that. I'm not going. We not going. So we're gonna have a conversation, and it's not gonna be the same way how you say you writing stuff down. You got it in your head. I feel like when I'm talking to him, he should be able to have a conversation like, okay, I hear what you're saying, and these are the things that I feel like need to be addressed, but not. Oh, well, you know you did this last week, and he like, but you did that last week, and then I'm like, oh, but you did this. No, I'm not doing it. So I'm not doing that with you.
The Home Depot situation. Y'all in the store, and you say something, a little slit out his mouth, right? You address it right then and there, or you wait.
You say something slick
And loud.
I can't think
Like,
of
like motherfuckers at Home Depot, like,
whoa,
like,
well, somebody walking by, like,
So I'm trying to recall a time. The
I
men
had
that I
that
have
shit
been in relationships with, they don't like to be embarrassed. So it's certain things that they just not gonna do in public. So
I had that shit go down.
if
I never been through that, but
if that happened, I'm like I'm listening to y'all because I feel like, and me working on myself, I do have a slick mouth. I do have a real.
So you would address it right then and there, like, what the fuck was you talking to?
Yeah, I feel like I would do that. But the men who I feel like that I had attracted, let me say now, it's kind of like I'm not intimidated, but it's a different thing. It's different. It's just different. Like I feel like I have not even heard him raise his voice. And just in conversation.
I don't trust it.
And that's okay because I've never heard him raise his voice.
Yeah,
But I have seen him get what he needs to say without raising his voice. And when he's saying it, you know he means business.
So, not that I need you to yell at me, because my dad doesn't yell. Like, I may have heard him raise his voice maybe like 3 times.
And he meant probably real serious business when he raised that voice. He wasn't talking to me.
No,
No, he wasn't, but when you heard it, it was serious business.
So, when I say I don't trust it, well, not that I need you to raise your voice, but then you finish up with, like, he's been, like, he puts, like, like, it's going in. But,
and not with me, I've just seen him with other people.
Right.
He don't really he hasn't raised his voice, but he real when he got an issue, you know he got an issue.
I wouldn't call myself a dickhead, but occasionally, like, I'm the type of person that once we are, like, far enough in a relationship, I'm gonna push you as far as I can.
I want to see how big you get.
I do. I'm gonna push you.
I want to see how
I'm
big
gonna get
you
you. No, I'm gonna push you.
Pussy voice.
I'll push you, and I'm waiting until I feel like that little ice person is like, you know, I ain't gonna count for this, because I know at that point you have to lose it. But I'm gonna take you there, and I don't, and it's probably not the best thing to do. But it's just one of those, like, I need to know how far I can
want
make
to
this
see.
go.
Yeah.
Now I used to talk to a guy who I never seen him get upset.
Yeah, no.
That to me,
That's like,
I felt like he would probably have killed me. Like I had to fuck off. Like he always smiled, always laughed, but I never saw him get angry. And we was talking for like 8 months with nobody,
not even you.
not even me.
Did
Never
you try
got
to get
upset.
angry?
No, I'm not that type.
Oh.
No, I'm not gonna push you because I feel like you just don't know how it's gonna come out.
Right.
Because I don't know what you holding in.
Mhm.
So when I push you, right, and then you do some shit that I'm like, nah. But I feel like it's signs that. So I was talking to this one guy who I felt like he was prime like domestic violence type because I felt like he was mentally like somebody who want to make you feel a little fucked up, but it never worked on me. But when I looked him up, he had like 4 or 5 domestic violence cases, but he was the subtle type. Like he probably wanted to get and just say little stuff and then have you feel in a certain type of way, and then before you know it, he whooping your ass. See, there's certain signs that I don't need to push you because I can watch your behavior and see certain things that ain't right, and I know I got us not fucking.
We is that guy. I'm gonna leave him alone.
Yeah,
but this other guy over here, I'm gonna see how far I can leave.
But
Like,
by that
you
point,
real
you're
man.
already in love and stuff.
Right, and I'm gonna walk away and be like, don't worry about it.
Anyway.
And so like 2 hours later, you like, God, you really fucking
Come on,
It's
man.
true, you know, you come back 2 hours later, like,
boy, you fucking play. Like I did, and was like, psych. I just did that 2 weeks ago. So what you want to what? What the fuck is that? You want to do all this? You want to choke and get some? What do you want?
right, I just wanna know, like, I wanna know how far I can take you. That's fine.
That's interesting. You know, I haven't really, and I really do. I have anger problems.
I'm sorry, no, go ahead.
So, a long time ago, my grandmother was with her friend, and they was like, you know, who's her boyfriend? And she slid him the money to pay the bill. And I was like, what the hell going on here? That was the back in the day, recently. But now I'm older, I get it. Let the man be the man. So, do y'all have a problem with that?
What, slide the money?
No.
Back in the
We
day,
talked about it in the car.
No, what if, well, you
I mean,
could
with
have
my
been
man, I wouldn't have slid across the table. I probably gave it to him. So like, it was a situation with the person that I was with. He didn't get paid yet, and I wanted to go out.
Right.
So
you
I gave him the money
Why
before
you
we
just
got
pay it?
there because I just wanted him to pay it.
You want the man?
I wanted him to pay it because he wanted to pay it, but I didn't want to wait. Because if I would have just waited till he got paid,
Right. So yeah, I get it now. Back in the day, I swear to no money, you know, but now like that.
and that's just learning, like you said, just learning. One of the things that I used to say, I have friends who are married, and I'd be like, I said, I don't know if I'm gonna ever be able to be. I would love to be a kept woman. That's what I want. I want to be a kept woman. And I used to say, I have a friend who is a kept woman. Well, she's working now, but I say it's a level of like shutting the fuck up. Like it's gonna be a certain level where you're gonna have to shut the fuck up. Now I'm not saying that you're gonna let him do what he want to do. That's not what I'm saying. But I think a lot of times our mouths come from the fact that we can do a lot of stuff on our own. So you can kind of move and shape the way you want in a sense. But when you start to want something different, you can't move the same way. Nope. You cannot move the same way. And she used to be like, no, I still say what the fuck I want. But let me say this. The type of man that I want ain't gonna let me just say what the fuck I want. So it's like, and I'm not even gonna want to because of the type of respect. I don't want no man who will be paying all the bills and I can just straight cuss him out and probably like,
No. See, that's why I had to push him. Because I needed to know how far I could go before he like, and that's how and so I just need to know what I can do and can't do. Because I would love to be a woman leader.
So is that a conversation though? Is it a way that y'all can have a conversation with this person and they can tell you, I don't like this, I don't like that.
I'm gonna still do it.
I think she was spring on. You don't want to do like planned or shit. Like you gotta do
it.
You gotta
like you can say to me like, I don't like when a person does X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, oh, all right. And then later on, I'm gonna do X, Y, and Z. And I just want to see go down when I do it.
I might do X. I might not do all of them.
I'm gonna do it all.
You might not do X, Y, and Z. You gonna do X. You doing X, Y, and Z, and you going back to A.
No, I'm gonna do X, Y, and Z, and then I'm gonna see the reaction. Okay. And if the reaction ain't as bad as I thought it was gonna be, well, fine, I'm gonna keep doing it. Cause you know what I'm saying? Well, because it wasn't that bad. Like you might feel away, but like you wasn't angry. Like you're just certain shit that like like don't do that. But I'm not gonna go back to A. Cause I feel like if I did X, Y, and Z, like you probably mad. So, all right, yo, my bad. I'm sorry. I love you. Let's go do something.
And I think that's just, I don't know, I think that's interesting because
I'm a spoiled brat though. I will honestly. And
I'm working on that.
I was being a spoiled brat?
No, I'm working on not being one. Because I was kind of in a situation like you was, like I got everything I wanted. So it was like, you just know you're going to get it. You know? And then like, I grew up, my mother and my stepmother, they made sure I had a good life. So it's like, all this time I got what I want. So if I'm dating, don't give me a little pussy, give me what I want. Like, what you mean?
So you ain't giving them a lot of it, you give them a little bit.
Just a little bit.
you gotta be my man to get a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
like the wife.
I got you.
So we gonna go back. One of the questions was, do you think that a black woman's independence is a threat to the family, to the black family? Yes. And if so, why?
I think it's a threat to the. So wait, let me go back to my thought that there's the strong independent woman and then there's the independent woman. So I feel like the overly strong independent woman is a threat to the black family because she got this shit. She got her own job. She got her own business. Two kids, work hard. You know, the whole Boosie song. Like she got it, and she feels as though I don't need you. Like I don't care how much money you making. I was over here doing this shit without you, and I'm
I
gonna
don't
do it.
value you.
Right.
I don't value the man.
Right. So there's no reason for you to be here. You ain't bringing nothing to this table. So if you decide you want to leave tomorrow, then leave. If I decide you ain't bringing nothing to the table, then go ahead and go. And I feel like there are women in that position where I can do this shit by myself. I just need you to have sex with me occasionally. And I mean, if you don't even want to do that, I have my own little machine, you know, dresser drawer or whatever, that at this point is taking care of business. So I do feel like there are certain points and certain times and certain women who are too strong and too independent, and you don't know how to value a man. It don't matter if you making 150,000 and he making 70. Like he is still the man that you chose to be with, and he is still the head of your household. And you have to find a way to allow him to be the man and to lead you. And if you feel like you can't do that, then there's no point in him being there.
And that, I wonder if that's the reason why they end up leaving.
Why? That the man leaves
they
or
don't feel valued. It's like,
probably because they don't feel
I'm
valued.
making you know, I'm letting you know that I don't need that.
No, go ahead.
Oh yeah, that was all I was saying. What about you think?
I think it's 50-50. I have a daughter. So ultimately, I want her to know that you shouldn't depend on the man, but you shouldn't let him play his part. So it's like 50-50 for me. For example, when I first moved out and I was moving my daughter to Florida, he was looking at all these high-end apartments. And I'm like, shit, I can't afford that. I need somewhere where I can afford. Then 2 months later, he left. So if I would have moved in a $2,000 apartment, I'd have been looking crazy within my name. You know what I'm saying? And my daughter. So it's like I wouldn't want my daughter to be in a situation where you depend on the man and then you leave. You know, so it's like 50-50. But that plays a part in the men that I meet too. You know, like when I get certain relationships, I need her to see the man playing his part so she'll know. Because her father isn't there. So it's like, okay, my mother held me down, but her husband, her boyfriend, whatever, he made sure shit had, shit got done to it. You know, it's like 50-50 for me.
So I think it is a threat to the black family because it's 2 reasons. The first reason I think the reason why black women and black men aren't compatible is because a lot of men are being raised seeing their mother do everything, so they don't know their home. And if in fact you're this strong, I'm gonna just use the example, the strong, overly strong woman, she's really showing her son that, let's say she's raising a boy and her girl, that I don't need a man. I can do everything on my own and I don't need the extra help. Then on the other hand, the son is looking up to you, whereas I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I watched my mother get it all. I watched my mother go get it. So now when I get out in the world and I start dating, I don't know what the hell I'm supposed to do. The other side of that is it's not allowing women to be vulnerable. So you're showing this strength that is almost, not even almost, it's unrealistic. Because I believe even the mothers who, like men who watch their mothers and women who watch their mothers, and they watched them go get it, they did everything on themselves, I believe they cried at night.
Who?
I believe
The men?
The mothers.
Oh.
I believe they cried at night because they wanted help, they wanted support, but they didn't know what to do. So,
all right, we'll be right back. We're gonna go to a commercial for those on the radio app. Those of us in IG, we're gonna keep the conversation going. We will be taking calls in this hour. The phone number is 570-763-9675. You can also hit the request button if you're on IG Live and request to join our live, so then we'll be able to talk to you face to face on live.
Yeah, but yeah, so I think that is Correct. And women have to, you can get upset with this, but I think women need to know their role.
Yep.
And so do men.
I'm sorry.
It's all right. It's perfectly fine.
What question are we? Oh, the
We've
question.
been all over the place.
Yes.
It's all right.
Is vulnerability a sign of weakness? I think so.
You think so? Huh. So you gotta give me that then.
I don't think so.
Vulnerability is a sign of weakness.
Again, when I'm upset, well, no.
Is this 9675?
Yeah, 9675. Is it a sign of weakness to be vulnerable? Maybe I need to look up the full definition of vulnerable. And then hold it so you can pin it to the bottom.
That's
Like
what
hold it. Oh, okay.
I thought I was on that. Let me see.
Oh, there you go. Got it. You see? Yeah, it's pin. Let's see. Definition of vulnerable.
Okay, who works on?
Well, wait, what's your definition of vulnerable?
My definition of vulnerable is just allow people to see you.
Oh, no, I don't want that happen. What's your definition?
Allow people, and whoever that is you intended it for.
So, vulnerable, when I think about that, I think about, I guess not letting somebody see what you've been through. Or like,
Not letting somebody see what you've been through.
well, letting someone see.
Okay.
Letting someone see. So, it's like, you know that I've had these relationships that didn't work out. And you don't want to like fully put yourself all the way in because you see the same thing right here. So that's kind of like my definition of it.
All right, so
Webster.
the Merriam-Webster dictionary says 1, capable of being physically or emotionally wounded. 2, open to attack or damage. 3, liable to increased penalties but entitled to increased bonuses after winning a game or this is for bridge or contact and bridge. So I don't allow myself to be vulnerable with people. Like, I have lots of walls. Lots and lots of walls. I have
You're an Army brat, right?
Navy. I have a tendency to come off as, it's weird. I'm a very introverted person. Like, I don't talk to people I don't know. Like, in this environment, I will speak because that's what we're supposed to do. But, like, if we were all just meeting somewhere and I was Reese's friend, and she's like, oh, Monet, come with me. It's going to be a couple people there. Like, I'm only going to talk to Reese. Like, I'm only going to talk to Reese. And if she introduces me to you and I say hi to you, like, we vibe a little bit. I might have, like, a little bit of conversation to where you'll leave and be like, oh, Monet's, she cool or whatever. Like, she ain't say much. But, like, the amount of conversation I'm having with you now, like, you would never have that conversation with me within, like, the first month of knowing me. Because I have so many walls and there's so many things that, like, I'm not going to let you know all that about me. Like, I can't handle anyone knowing everything about me. And so I guess I say that it's a sign of weakness because for me, I have so many walls built up that if you're actually getting that close to me, at this point you've now seen me cry. And not like, and not like the angry cry, but like you've seen like the sad cry. And you know things about me that at some point you can throw back in my face. And if I open myself up to you to that point, and you then throw it back in my face, I'll never speak to you again. Like I just.
And I think that's vulnerability to me is transparency and honesty. That's why I think a lot of times people don't want to be as honest with people because then you know how to attack. Like if I tell you, like, listen, the reason why I don't really talk to you is because last time I was talking to somebody, they did this. But if I say for instance my facade is I got an attitude about everything, you don't know which way to come. it's like, well, I don't know why she mad. You know what I mean? Like, you just like, well, this must be her for how she is. She's got an attitude. Like, that's just who she is. But when you really start to get to know somebody, those walls are coming down. And now it's like, I don't know what you about to be, how you about to do it. And then I don't want my feelings hurt.
Like I got a homeboy from church. That's how we met. And we were in the same ministry, and so like his job and my job, we had to speak to each other. And so he told me later, like when I started working with you, like it was always my goal to like get to know you because you had just joined the church, and so I wanted to get to know you and figure you out and see what was going on. And it took like months, like 8-9 months before we were kind of at the point where he felt like, oh okay, I kind of understand you and what's going on with you, and like I can call him or contact him and be like, okay, this is what's going on. I just need to talk to you about it or whatever. But it took a while for him to like really get in there. And then like even so, yesterday my youngest son did his 5th grade promotion, and my oldest son graduated from high school, and I got my MBA like all in the last like 6 weeks. So
MBA,
congratulations. Yeah. So in my mom group that I'm in, like I shared my life with them from 19 when I had my son until like right now. Like I had the picture of the 3 of us up there, like this is us. And that's the most open and vulnerable I've ever been in that group. And like my friends, because the mom group is from, we all went to college. We all went to the same college. So like my friends that went to school with me, like they know my life. So they read that, and like 3 of them sent me a text like, you don't know like how hard I'm crying for you right now because I know that was so hard for you. And so, like, I just had, like, these conversations with them because they know, like, Monet, I can't believe that you actually, like, felt comfortable to let that out. And then the same homeboy that, I talked to from church, like, I sent him a screenshot, like, I felt led to share this with you because you have been trying to get to know me all this time. And we are friends. Like, we now hang out with, it's a whole group of them, it's husbands and wives, but, like, we all hang out, like, a group of friends now. But, like, there's still things about me that they don't necessarily know. So, like, I shared that with him. Had the same reaction, like you don't know the tears that I just shed for you because I knew how big of a thing that was for you because of the independent and the strong person that you are. Like you put off that everything is okay, and no one knows that like on the back end, like shit is not good. Right. And it's like, but it might not be good, but I still gotta wake up tomorrow and go to work, and I still gotta wake up and pay bills, and I still have to take care of this shit on my own. So yeah. Over here, the lady on my job, she's seconds from getting me fired because I'm about to cuss her out, like clean out. Every morning I gotta go in there and pray, like, Lord, please remind me that this place pays my bills. I got kids, but it's her. And then like people don't know that like me and my teenage son was going through. Like even like now since we've been here doing this show, like going through. And through ain't even the word, like to the point that like he now sees my mom because like we needed a minute for myself. So I have a tendency to just build this little wall around myself. And I just let people, I just let people see like little peaks of it. So that's why I feel like vulnerability is weakness because if I let you in and see all the shit that I'm going through, like then you won't think that I'm as strong as I am. Oh, thank you.
And I think the reality is,
I'm not gonna touch her.
I had a whole lot of walls, but I think the walls make you more weaker than the vulnerability itself.
I think so.
And the only reason why I say that, I always try to do a visual. It's just like if you standing in front of a wall, right, and you get to know people, you looking around, your perception and your view is tainted. So by the time you really let that wall down, your attack could be right in front. Because you're going to be looking around and over top of the wall. You're not seeing what's really in front of you. Because you're so busy trying to protect yourself. And it can cause more damage, I think.
And you can lose out. Right. You don't even know how to try.
Like, and those
that nigga probably won't even try to like. Right. Well, them niggas like that, you know.
But I did decide that this year that I was going to let people in. Because I asked some people that have been my friends for a while, like, do y'all see me like as a strong friend that got it together? Because like y'all don't ever call and be like, Monet, you alright? And they were like, yeah, you're good. Like, right, like, no, man, you are right. Like, you know, right? Like, if you, why you didn't say something? And it's just like, you know, like, I'll call you and be like, hey, what's going on? Or you'll call me and tell me everything that's going on with you. And, like, we'll have, like, that whole conversation. But, like, you never asked me about okay. And it was just like,
No, we needed to.
right,
because you created that moment.
right, because you always okay.
That's how it was for me.
I decided that this year I decided I wasn't going to do things that didn't make me happy. If it didn't make me happy, I wasn't going to.
That's a big step.
It is. Like, if it don't make me happy, I'm not going to do it. And I don't care who it is, mom, dad, brother, sister. If it don't make me happy, I'm not going to be able to do that. And in addition to making sure.
That's like working yourself.
It is. It's definitely a work in progress. Like, I had stepped back into just doing whatever for a couple weeks, and then I woke up like, nah, this shit ain't working. So I decided I was going to do things that made me happy, and that the people that I said, like, this group of friends that I just started hanging out with, like, they've literally been trying to be my friends for a while. And so I decided that I'm going to allow them in to be my friend. I do. Like, I hang out with them. We have good times. I have, like, personal conversations with some of them. I'm making sure that, like, my kids know them. I'm trying to start, like, actually, like, dating for real. And not, so I think my other problem with dating is, one, I don't want to be so open. I'm very concerned about how my kids are going to feel about me dating. And that goes back to not doing things that make me happy. Like, in order for my kids to be happy, I have to be happy. And I don't want to keep being lonely. So this year I decided that it's still going to be walls, but they're not going to be like all the way up here.
You can see a little bit.
Right. And a couple of them is going to be plexiglass. So, like, you can see me over there. But you just can't touch it.
Yeah, that's a huge step. That's a great thing.
I hope it works out.
And it will.
I'm gonna keep y'all up to
it will. And you're gonna hit some bump in the road, but it's gonna be good. And that's like the last part is really the resolution. What's the solution? And that's it. Being vulnerable. And like for me, I understand it because when Diallo died, I had friends who told me they didn't know what to say because they wasn't used to me crying and being like, oh yeah, it was just like I don't know how to really support you. Like this ain't who I know, right? But I created that monster because I always had it together. You can call me and talk to me, I can make you laugh, you know, you'd be good. But it was, and ever since then, I have been concrete, I'm gonna say for sure, I've been an emotional wreck. Like I've been, since February 25th, 2016, I have been a wreck. And I've been making a lot of reckless decisions. And I'm able to see myself in a way that I never was able to see myself before. So
maybe you need to go through that now instead of 10 years from
now. And the thing is, sometimes stuff happens where you don't even have a choice in that. Like you just gotta kind of go through it and really feel it. And I try not to remove myself from feelings because I used to be like, oh, I don't want to feel that. So it's like I'm gonna do something else. Now it's like I'm really feeling. I'm sitting in the emotions. I'm trying to learn, and I'm really identifying. Another thing I don't say no more is that made me feel some type of way because you have to name it in order to tame it. So now it's like that made me feel some type of way, but this is the way. Like my feelings are, or I'm angry, or I'm frustrated, or whatever. I'm happy. I'm whatever. I'm really naming those feelings because I do think it is a lonely road. You said at the beginning, it's a lonely road. Being strong or just independent and just trying to do everything on your own. And it really does, I feel like it weakened me in a sense because now I struggle, and that's what I'm working on with communicating my needs because it's like, for real, I didn't think you were going to do it anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and get it done. But who's the dummy now? Because if you got people around you and there's people who might help you, they ain't going to know if you don't ask. Right.
I can see that.
They really
have what they say, closed mouths
don't get fed. And sometimes just because you open your mouth don't mean you're going to get fed, but at least you ask.
You tell me no.
You got to get used to that, though. You got to get used to people telling you no, because everybody ain't going to say yeah. You don't even say yeah to everybody. So how we get mad because the motherfuckers say no to us?
Because you know how much it took for me to ask?
But that's why you gotta keep doing it. You gotta keep doing it. You gotta keep doing it. And I think about it in business. If you ever see them success stories and they be like, everybody, Birth of a Nation, matter of fact. He said, hella people told him no. Until he got that one yes. But he ain't stopped asking because a couple people said no, and it might have been 20 people we asked. He kept saying the same thing, and so he said no, and he went to somebody else. He said eventually somebody will say yeah. Somebody will say yeah, and it's gonna be the person who will be able to help you.
They are. It's somebody out there that's gonna love me and all this spoiled shit I got.
But you definitely gotta work on your shit. You definitely want to work on that communication piece.
I don't have a problem with it though.
You don't have a problem with it, you know it's an issue. So you gotta look up into that. You gotta be accountable for your stuff. Yeah.
All right,
Just take a look at some point. Right now you're alright with it, but at some point you be like, you know, maybe I should just. Maybe if you did that, you might not have to cuss that lady out. Maybe you can start at work. Is she white?
No. So here's the thing. I work with two older black women, and by older I mean like they both like in their 60s. And then this little old 37-year-old me. And so like right now it's only three of us. And right now the communication is like the ultimate level of passive aggressiveness. And we got two options. I mean, either just go ahead and not say nothing to you, or spaz about. And like I'm right here in the middle.
They ain't got any options though, you know that, right?
I don't know so the only other I don't know the other option. So I'm right here in the middle between.
No, this it right here. She can learn the tools so she can be able to address her concerns.
So here's an example. Last week, the lady sent me an email. Like, Miss So-and-so called about the training that's going on next Friday and registration closed. So I talked to our boss. Then she said to tell you to call her back. What? Wait, what am I calling? Like, she told you what to tell me to tell the lady. So why didn't you call her back? Like, I don't understand I don't understand what's happening here. Like,
So how do you respond?
So I didn't respond directly back to her. I responded back to my boss because anytime first of all, she doesn't communicate with me like, hey, how you doing? She only communicates with me via email. Any email she ever sends me has my boss CC'd on it. And me and my boss had talked about it a week before about the communication issue. So I replied back to the email that my boss is copied on, but took her off of it, and just explained like this is the passive aggressive communication that I'm talking about, where the standard operating procedure is yada yada yada. So I shouldn't have had to get this email telling me to call this woman if you explain to her how it needs to happen. But this is what I feel like we need to discuss because again, her office is across the hall from my office. Like you had to walk past my office to go to the bathroom. So why didn't you? And then you sent me that email like 3:30 in the afternoon. We've been here since 8. When did you have this conversation? And my boss, who like encourages the BS, is like, well, she doesn't know anything about it. No, the point wasn't what she doesn't know about our procedures. The point is, when she communicated this information to you, why didn't you tell her to speak to me about it? Or why didn't you tell her how to handle it and then she move forward? Like,
but if everybody passive aggressive, that'll never happen.
Well, so the two of them feel like they're not being passive aggressive. The two of them feel like right. The two of them feel like the way that they communicate is perfectly fine. So now every time there's some form of communication, I have to respond back and say, you could have just come across the hall and asked me this, but here's the answer to the question. Or like today I said, in the future, if this question arises, you can always come over and speak to me. It'll be a lot easier for me to resolve the issue if we speak face to face rather than via email.
Those real good email pushers, I don't think they do well in person. So like one of the challenges I used to have in my old job is I didn't want to write no emails. I wanted to come talk to you. But that gets you in trouble. So sometimes it's better to do that because I just feel like if we have challenges, let's just talk about it so we can get it out the way versus this dumbass email. But the email in corporate America is what saved your ass.
It is. And every email that they send to me, I print out. Every single one. My rebuttal is back. Their BS to me. Every single one. Because just like I said last week, she sent me an email like, well, the boss said to tell you to call her to tell her XYZ. But then today I get an email for the same training and the same question came up, but now you were able to answer that woman's question. So now you're just sending me an email to tell me that you answered her question. So when we have this meeting, I'm gonna bring up both examples. See how on this day you told her to tell me to call her, but on this day she was able to do it. Like somewhere we have to figure out how this communication is gonna work amongst the three of us.
So based off your hashtag, I'm not doing anything
That doesn't make me happy.
that doesn't make you happy. What can you do that will make you happy, but will also keep your job?
Just keep going to work and doing my job. There's nothing I can do in my job that's gonna make me happy, right?
Oh, definitely. Okay. So right now it's just the greatest. What is it? The lesser of the evil or something.
The greatest of the two evils.
Yes. Okay. So
That paycheck every other Friday
is enough.
Yeah.
To kind of get you through.
And
prayer.
I do
pray.
I do pray. I say, I in the parking lot, I tell the Lord to remind me as the day goes on that one, I need this job and I have kids to take care of, and please don't let me like get in my head and think that every time I hear them talking that they're talking about me, because they might not be. So like, please help me understand that everything ain't about me and that they're not technically out to get me, which they could be, but like it's not good to be at work thinking that way. And then I say the 23rd Psalms.
Okay. It's a part of here. I don't know if people think it's really, but it's a problem is only a question. Any problem can be broken into a mathematical equation to which a formula is applied. If the formula is applied, the answer will be forthcoming. The answer is the solution. Blacks have not approached their problems from a mathematical standpoint and assumed that there are too many variables for similarities to exist. So the reason why I said that, this is like a general statement, but if you really look at the problem in a way where you can break it down, you can solve it. So don't make it bigger than you. Make it where I can do something, because I really feel like on a whole nother level, the reason why we suffer from so many issues as Black women is because we hold on to too much. Mm-hmm. And we're not able to kind of get it out. I'm not thinking about the strong independent Black woman or independent Black woman. We got to figure out ways to communicate our needs, and also that's boundaries. Mm-hmm. I know India was talking about that when we had the conversation. It's a boundary issue. It's like, I'm not telling you that this right here, this shit right here is bullshit, but maybe not saying this bullshit. Right. So you probably do better with rhetoric than I do. Mm-hmm. I don't do well with rhetoric, and that's something that I'm working on. No, I'm not. Okay. I don't want to do rhetoric. I want to be able to say what I need to say, but say it in a way where I'm okay with how it came out. And even because sometimes, not even sometimes, a lot of times when you really start to set boundaries and you clear cut and you honest, you're going to offend people. You got to be okay with that. Okay, whatever.
But it's cool. It's cool. That don't have nothing to do with this.
I'm like, I don't really know.
Where were we? So
we talked about some resolutions already. You already talked about the fact that you're not doing anything that don't make you happy.
I know.
You talked about the fact that you want to do some dating. We talked about the fact that you do want to communicate and be vulnerable.
So we'll talk about my dating. That's fine, real quick. I don't know. We'll talk about that when we come on the talk.
Yeah.
I don't. So okay. I had a boyfriend in high school. I had a good time in college. I had a boyfriend. I had a husband, and then I was single. So I don't know how to like casually date. You know what I mean? Like to be talking to Joe Schmo over here and then go on a date with him over here and all this stuff. And then in my mind, I feel like, well, I'm too old to be doing all of that type of stuff. So
are you not casually dating? Technically, you're not casually dating. You're trying a prospect for a husband. So you have to get to know the meat, for lack of a better term, and not necessarily the penis. But yeah, you gotta really know what's out there, because like you said, you had a limited view of right, quote unquote dating, especially since you were just married. Your last relationship was marriage, so you don't want to go down from that. Even if the relationship itself was bad, you still want to be married. The ultimate goal is to be married, so the way you date is going to be different. Mm-hmm. You might not want to just date one person because that might not work out.
I was a serial dater. I go out with somebody for breakfast and they go out with somebody for dinner.
I don't know how to have that many different conversations.
I do.
Like, I don't.
Did you have a lot of conversations?
Yeah. So the thing is, I'm
at the same time.
I don't. I don't know. I feel like I've always felt like you date with a purpose. Like
But you can't put all your eggs in one basket, so you gotta get to know the person. You can't know it for one day.
But how am I get to know Tim and get to know Mike at the same time?
Like, baby.
But how do I make sure I'm giving both of them the right amount of time?
You can't give them but so much time.
So you getting the time. You ain't worried about how much time they give for you because you trying to figure out if it's
That's
even
your
worth
show.
your
That's
time.
like, when you available, you let them know. When you wanna go out, that's on your time, not theirs. We'll talk.
We have to talk.
The relationship expert, right?
I ain't the expert, but I know I'm not just gonna, or I met this guy, I'm gonna talk to him, and that's it. No. Then after we start getting serious, then you cut the other ones off, slowly but surely. But, you know, I mean, you don't, after you start
But it take a
getting
while to get to that. I mean, not necessarily a while, but that's how you figure out what it is that you want.
Yeah.
But that one person, you gonna put all of it up in there, and
You
then
know, I gotta do this whole dating thing again. Look, you know, already went out with Billy, so Billy, he in the background, you know, he waiting.
so you gotta make them prove themselves.
Kinda, right? Instead of just saying, all right, we'll just cook. Because then, with me, it was always something. I mean, it was always, oh, I don't like this, I don't like this. So I had to kind of operate like that, you know. But,
You're in a relationship now, right?
Mm-hmm. All right, wait till we turn off this stuff.
OMG.
I got all kinds of questions, but that's neither here nor there. So, okay, so my question to the three of us, because we only have 6 minutes left, and I'll go last since I'm watching the time. With all three of us being independent Black women and strong in our own sense, do you feel like you were ever standing in your way of love? And then not necessarily love, but like the quintessential happily ever after that was sold to us as kids in Disney movies. Like, do you feel like as being the strong, independent woman that you are, that at times you have stood in your way of the happiness that you could have had?
oh my God, I had we feel like 80 years, so after that breakup, I think I did. But, because I wasn't really over that, you know, because, okay, yeah. Well, now I am, but I was doing wifely duties for a boyfriend, so I dated differently after that. I learned, you can't do all that.
Right.
You can't do all that. So, it was a lesson. But I think I may have stood in the way, but I feel like if they not here right now with today, then it just wasn't meant to be.
Okay.
So I don't believe in a fairy tale Disney movie carry me away type of situation. I think that's a white mentality. So I don't agree with that. I don't even look for that. But I do know that I stood in my way because I didn't know how to communicate appropriately. And even the guys that I did after Diallo, they would say, "You still holding on to him," and I am. I still like, even though I know he's gone, he ain't coming back. I want him back. I do, and I realized that I was comparing people. So now that it's something that I'm taking a look at and just trying to figure out what part of me do I need to heal because he's gone, he's not coming back. So that's just been what the journey that I'm on now. But definitely my mouth, my attitude, the way I move, has impacted my ability. I was in one relationship after the other. And I do believe that my behavior was attracting a certain type of man. Which is why I had to start making changes so that I could get something different.
I don't know if I don't know how other women feel. I never really asked them this question. But like, I know that I can take care of me and like I'm fully aware that I can get up every day and do what needs to be done so that me and the 2 children that I brought into this world are going to be successful and live the life that we need to live and not want for anything, not need for anything. You might want for something, but you don't need for anything. But as far as love goes, my dad is an awesome guy, and I think I may have said that before. Like, my dad is an awesome guy, and him and my mother aren't together, but like he's always been like the example of the man that like I want to be with forever. So I personally, I guess, yearn to be taken care of. Like I know that I can take care of for myself, but I know that the man that I'm looking for is going to want to take care of me and is going to be honored to take care of me. And I, in turn, am going to also take care of him.
Did your ex play that role?
In the beginning, so in the beginning, when we first got together, he was a yang to my yang. Like, I'm a homebody. Like I said, I don't talk to people I don't know. He's like the life of the party. We could be in Florida at Disneyland, and he'll have like 7 new friends, and I'm like, these people, like, how do you have people from Connecticut? And he's like, they're staying in the villa next to us, and they invited us to dinner. I'm not, no, I don't know that. So like, he was fun and he was exciting, and we balanced each other out. And he came from a 2-parent household where his father made sure to take care of the house, and so in the beginning, that's what attracted me to him, and that's why we were together. But he had some demons in him that came out and came through, and just one week. So his grandmother passed, and it really affected everyone in his family, like differently, especially her grandchildren. And so after his grandmother passed, like all of her grandchildren, even her kids, like things in them just like flipped, and no longer was the betterment and the happiness of his family his top priority. And so it got to the point where like, wait, like you got these 2 boys, and I can't let them think that what you're doing is okay. Like, I can't let them grow up and feel like they can treat their wife and their kids like that. A lot going on. Yeah, I guess just a few minutes. But so with him, he could have been my forever, but when that thing flipped in him, he no longer decided that we were the most important. So like right now, I aspire to date, to be with someone forever. Like, I don't plan to date and court just to be out there fucking or just be out there having a good time. Like, that's just not what I'm looking for. Like,
Okay.
Right. And that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for
Forever.
the happily. Right. I'm looking for forever. I'm looking for, we're 78 years old, and we got the house in Pasadena, and everyone's coming over to Gigi and Poppy's house for the summer. Like, that's what I'm looking for. So,
Damn, and I would love to tell some kids to be
Poppy. Right, for the summer. Like, come on, send the babies down. They already got their room. We're gonna go to the beach. It's gonna be a good time.
I'm down.
And me too.
I'm down. So just let me know,
Yeah,
maybe before 78, I'm thinking.
Well, yeah, I mean, maybe like 67. I'm also trying to find me like a man that's gonna be retired like 55. I don't know. Oh, all right. I gotta close this out because we're on the last minute.
Okay, let's roll out.
I forgot what we had said. But anyway, this is the Theshopdmv. I want to thank everyone who joined us in the IG Live, on the YouTube Live, on the WMSK online app. Thank you everyone who participated and continues to come back every Wednesday to talk with us and see how everything is going. We will be back here next Wednesday, 7-ish. Let's go with 7:10 to be on the safe side until 9 p.m. Next week's show will be run by the one and only Mr. Six, and to my understanding, we will be discussing Baltimore music, local artists, and maybe people are gonna come in. We'll see what happens. But thank you so much for listening, and you all have a lovely evening. Good night. Okay, so I push that button, and then I end the stream, and then I don't know what else I'm supposed to touch over here.
You want me to say?